and welcome to You're Wrong About Musicals. I'm Esme,
And I'm Nell.
and today we are talking about Bring It On.
Actually, a full second there. I was like, what are we doing?
I had a moment like that and I did the notes. Because I've been so deep in research for next week's episode. It is haunting my dreams.
I'm
Literally.
doing no research, and I can guarantee I'll probably be talking more than Esme.
Oh, I'm like, also the annoying thing is that like I think I know more than what's available on the internet for me to source.
Yeah.
Same with this episode, actually. There was stuff, because I used to do this podcast, and I was thinking about this podcast this week, called Broadway Backstory, and it's been wiped off the internet forever.
Damn.
And it's people talking about the development of shows, and they had a Bring It On episode, and so I was able to, like, recall things that had happened, and then I wasn't able to find a source for them. But, like, I've, like, and it's so annoying, because, like, they had, like, a Next to Normal one that I listened to so much. They had a Light in the Piazza one, and when I was doing my my assessment on the Light in the Piazza, I was like, I would kill for that podcast right now. But it's been like wiped from the internet. I cannot find it. I've seen people talking online about like how they used to listen to it and can't find it anymore. But fly high. Anyway, we've got a small list of news.
We recorded really late last week, so
Yeah. Also,
there's just a lot of overlap.
I don't think we're going to do news next week because we don't have time.
Unless there's something massive happens.
Like, yeah. I think we would probably do a condensed version of like a couple of big headlines.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing that's going to happen Thursday/Friday that I think I'm going to have to talk about on here.
Oh.
Yeah. Certain shows opening on Broadway. No, I'm just genuinely deeply, deeply fascinated. That sounds like I'm being bitchy. If I come off as mean this episode, I'm really stressed and tired. My diss is due in 2 weeks, and I'm losing the plot. Anyway, let's start the news, shall we? Mean Girls to close on the West End. I sounded so positive then. That was unnecessary.
Mean Girls is closing!
Yes, it's closing. No, I'm genuinely very shocked. I texted you and I was like,
no,
what?
same.
Sorry, what? And then I texted Toby and was like, dude, you know what's going on over there? And he was glad because he liked Mean Girls. I've seen Mean Girls. I thought it was fine.
It's one of those things I feel like maybe I should see it. Now that I know it's closing, I'm like, I probably should see this. But
there's other stuff you should see. Like Moulin Rouge.
Please don't bring it up.
No, I was jump scared of my end of the bargain this week because a review talked about it.
Yeah. Gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want Comet to win so badly, but oh my god.
On one hand,
I have to go see it.
If you don't know, me and Nell made a bet before the Olivier's nominations came out, because if the Olivier nominations had come out, we wouldn't be making this bet.
Okay, the thing was, what happened was we were talking about the fact that the Olivier noms weren't out.
Yeah.
And we were saying, but we were making predictions of what we thought was going to be nominated.
Yes.
And we got to Best New Musical, and we said, this is what we think is going to be nominated.
We were like,
and
it doesn't matter because Benjamin.
It doesn't matter what's nominated. We know Benjamin Button is winning.
It's going to get the most nominations out of anything, any musical.
Like this is
Olivier's. You know,
it's the show of the season.
Yeah.
And then I believe you said I want Great Comet to win. In fact, if Great Comet wins over Benjamin Button, I'll do something.
Yeah, I'll do something.
Which then Esme will do the research for and record and have to engage with a Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark episode.
But I was ranting the other day about how much I hate U2 and how their music just sends like shivers into my teeth. You know, that kind of like it vibrates at frequency that like makes me physically annoyed.
And so the thing is, that's funny. The issue is, if Esme does that, it's a punishment for her. But I'd be fine with it. I would just think it was funny.
You'd be there like telling jokes that I'd be there going,
oh yeah.
And then I'd have to just cut so much. That's the other thing.
I don't know how much of last week was cut as well, where I went on a little detour.
Nell's never seen a bootleg in her life, but she did start.
I did manage to find an archival like thing of just Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark bootlegs.
Yeah.
And I can't seeing as I've never watched a bootleg in my life. I couldn't tell you how I knew how to find it.
No. Just like this might be interesting.
Actually, I'm really glad that my line making fun of people for searching up slime tutorials cut, if it did.
Yeah, that whole section got to be cut, and I also cut. one of the news items we're talking about this week had to be me speculating about it had to be cut because you just kept intersecting by saying it makes more sense for it to be this week in hindsight, but like because you kept being like, and we were running over, and I was getting bored of editing, so it was just you going, and I found this.
Anyways, yeah, it wouldn't be a punishment for me, and so out of solidarity, I said I'll go see Moulin Rouge.
We both got to
We were
pick our
certain.
own. But basically the thing is that we both have created this issue for ourselves. We could have picked nicer punishments, but we were like,
Yeah.
it's not happening, so we're doing this.
We were so certain that Benjamin Button was going to sweep. And then the nominations came out, and suddenly it looked a little. It's not even that Benjamin Button did bad, it still did very well in nominations. It's just Great Comet somehow did even better.
It was just the fact that Great Comet was the most nominated musical or new musical of the season. Like it got more noms than Oliver and Starlight. It got
Everything
six
we thought we knew
nominations.
about British musical theatre was ruined
Ruined.
by the Olivier nominations.
They always
So
are. They always are.
if Great Comet does win Best Musical, we will be overjoyed. We'll be so happy.
I will be
Finally,
going,
the flowers
Dave,
it deserves.
Dave.
We will be ecstatic. However, we then
I'll
have to
cry.
punish ourselves.
I'll then be crying.
Yeah.
Because it's just gonna be so much work as well. That's the other thing I've always said is I don't care enough to put in all that work because it's just like Michael Riedel made it his full-time job from the years of 2009 till like I don't know last year whenever he stopped publishing just to dunk on that musical. And also it's like to a certain extent I feel bad for kicking a dead horse.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
it's bad.
I don't even fully remember how we got on this topic. Mean Girls, Olivier's. What was the link?
There was one. Oh, shows you should see.
Oh. I should see Benjamin Button. Let's be clear.
I think you would like Benjamin Button. That's the other thing.
I think I would. That's the thing. Is I think I actually really would.
I think you would like it more than me. Like I thought Benjamin Button was a very well done piece of theatre. I was also in a shitty ass mood when I saw it.
It's something I should just go see.
I was supposed to be at a hospital appointment and then it got cancelled and I ended up at Benjamin Button. And if you know me, don't talk to me while I'm on my way to a hospital appointment. I am in a shitty mood. Yeah, Nels bore the brunt.
Yep, I can vouch.
Shout out to my dad, who's bore the brunt of it the most. To one of the workers who is always catches me mid rant whenever she comes to get me. The big question is because basically people have been saying this for a while. Like there's more shows that want to come to the West End than there are theatres at the moment. And the Savoy is a lovely theatre. Dude, it's fucking gorgeous in there. I was sat there, I was watching Mean Girls, but I was also going, this place is fucking sick. It's this beautiful Art Deco building. And you can see why they did Sunset there for the first time. Like, it makes complete and total sense. But it's a large enough theatre to host a transfer, but it's also not like a huge seating capacity. So it's fair game, people. It's not like a Drury Lane where you have to have like a big like household name property or like something that's gonna sell.
I think if they get something popular in there, it will sell very, very easily.
So like the last couple of musicals to be in there were Sunset Boulevard, Pretty Woman lasting there for longer than Mean Girls did, which confounds me still at like 9
That's
to 5.
insane.
So the only real outlier musicals wise is Sunset Boulevard. I wouldn't be surprised if it was another movie musical.
Yeah. So far, our suggestions: Beetlejuice.
Always.
Please.
Open theatre, we're just like Beetlejuice? Question mark?
Beetlejuice. And then I said Anastasia, maybe.
Shall I tell you what I fear it might be?
What?
Some Like It Hot. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that's like on Broadway now.
Notebook,
maybe.
Oh, Mary. It would never go there, but
Please.
Please. I'm begging you.
Can Oh Mary get really interested in the Fortune Theatre? Can I just say, can O'Mary like have their sights set on the Fortune Theatre?
You don't have to repaint as well. That's the thing.
You don't have. You can literally.
Okay. Dreamworld.
There's no. Yeah.
Mincemeat moves from the Fortune Theatre into the Savoy.
Mm-hmm.
O'Mary
Okay.
moves into the Fortune. Because
I
I
can see
could
it.
deal with that cramped, dingy theatre for a 90-minute comedy play.
Yeah. Do you know where O'Mary should go if it came over here?
Criterion.
No, that's not what I was going to say, but it would go well with that.
Yeah.
Arts, where fucking Choir of Man is.
Guys, we need to get rid of Choir of Man. We're not mean enough.
Can we just kick Choir of Man out?
I know
Like,
that they're like
rid of Choir of Man.
They're like a cockroach that we can't get rid of.
We've made our jokes about 222.
222 for being lazy.
We need to get mean about Choir of Man.
I've said this week I'm being mean. I don't think I'm being mean enough about Choir of Man.
My main beef with the Choir of Man is just that it's taking up a really nice theatre.
It's not even nice on the inside. It's just the perfect like size for a lot of.
It's just such a good theatre. Anyways, O'Mary, if you're thinking about coming to the West End, can you set your sights on either the Arts or the Fortune?
Yep.
We could do like a little foreign exchange, like Broadway gets me and we get O'Mary. Very similar.
Yeah. Are they? Sure.
Yellow.
They are
historical
yellow.
Comedies, subverting the gender roles of these historical events.
Should I tell you what? I also saw a regional show that's scheduled to play at the start of the summer on TikTok and went, I wonder if this is going to try and make it into the West End and where it would go. 13 going on 30.
Oh, banger.
I love that movie so much.
We've seen a discourse about the dress in the poster.
I don't care enough.
Oh, it's so stupid. I've seen like one tweet about it, but it's so funny. It's not even discourse.
30. But no, I love that movie. It is. I wonder if Mean Girls not doing as well as I think myself. I mean, it's still done well. It's lasted the year and it's made its money and it's going on a UK tour, which all shows do. If it not doing as good as I think a lot of people, including myself, expected it to, is a sign that maybe we are starting to get bored of the musical adaptation.
Yeah.
My Neighbor Totoro extends to the West End. We need to go see this.
We need to go see it. I might get my mum to buy tickets because it's something I think I could drag her to.
They have £10.
Okay, let's go.
RSC. We'll go do that.
Speaking of £10 tickets to the RSC.
No, that's the National.
No.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that this summer.
We need to go do that this summer.
Yeah. Massive plans, incomprehensible. You guys won't understand.
Plans are in motion.
Plans are in motion. Ghost Stories to return to the West End. Fort found in drawer. Jodie Comer to tour Prima Facie. Good on her. I like the attention that regional UK theatre is getting at the moment. I've noticed that this week, or the past 2 weeks or so. Very exciting. Billy Porter to make his UK directorial debut at Soho Place.
Can I ask a question about that name?
Yeah.
Because the theatre's called At Soho Place.
Yeah, no, I know. So it should be at Soho Place.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you can re-say it with debut at Soho Place.
I'm not saying that feels illegal. Sleeping Beauty to be the pantomime at
Palladium.
Brain's gone off the show. Starring Catherine Tate.
It's like its 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, something like that. And they did like
it's a big year. It's not this. I don't know, really. It feels like very recently they were doing it for last year's. So I remember texting you about them announcing last year's one.
Yeah. It feels early, but Panto season's already being announced, but I'm also like, the British would die for a Panto.
I'd do anything for Panto. To be fair, this would be the year we could properly go.
Yeah. This year we could probably afford as well.
Yeah.
Othello's expensive. There are some plays.
Especially your cool State of the Broadway Union address if you didn't see it.
There are just some plays on Broadway I read the grosses because I'm a nosy bitch. We were just talking about how much we'd love to have the grosses in the UK.
West End, can you please release some grosses?
Andy, Cameron, please release the grosses.
Like, even just like on your Twitter, can you just tell us how much you make a week?
What if the West End does amazingly, they'll release it. Like, because I know for a fact that like when Miss Saigon came back for the revival, it broke a box office at the Prince Edward, and so they announced it. I know when Book of Mormon came, they broke a West End sales record, so they announced it. I know when it was the last week of Hello Dolly, it sold so well that they announced it.
It's just I'd kind of like to know how you're doing on a day to day because every time you excel, it doesn't really surprise me.
But then also, like, what's the grosses? I just want to know the grosses for two West End shows so badly.
Yep.
Like,
We've been bitching before we start recording this episode.
I don't understand how they're making money, but like, I want to read the grosses because maybe they are. Maybe they're just selling all the really expensive seats.
Yeah.
Um, Snow White, the press tour's raging on.
I'm furious about this, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I hate Pasek and Paul didn't realize they did the music, but apparently it's good.
Do you know what the issue is? Is number one, fucking love Rachel Zegler.
Dude, you know how I feel
Holy
about
shit.
All I've been
Oh
thinking
my
about all week.
God.
I've been having a couple of reoccurring thoughts all week. Many of them I can't say on here. But one of them is, do you know how excited I am to hear Rachel Zegler sing Rainbow High?
This is the thing is I have
A new
really no
Argentina.
interest in Invita. I am really, really considering buying a ticket to go see Rachel Zegler just to hear her.
Like like
I'm not even shitting you. I might stage door it if I go.
okay, that's your
This
journey.
isn't a joke. I might stage door it.
That's your journey. Personally, I can't be asked. I want to go home. No, everyone would think I'm so excited for Don't Cry for Me Argentina. It is a new Argentina and Rainbow High now.
Yeah. Anyways, so I love Rachel Zegler. I also love Snow White. It's no fact about me. Snow White was my favorite Disney princess when I was a kid.
I feel like
And
that's
so
a little
therefore,
known fact about you.
yeah. So I have a deep connection to it.
Yeah.
And this fucking movie is pissing me off.
Yeah.
Who was it we were just talking about as voicing? Oh, George Salazar, wasn't it?
Oh, George Salazar's
That
in
was
it.
crazy.
And I'm so glad I knew that before I was gonna go because if
If Happy had started talking and it was Michael from Michael in the Bathroom.
I would have started hysterically laughing and then it would be all that I could think about for the entire show. For the
Andrew
entire
Garth Feldman's in it.
that makes
Dejana Gift is in it.
that's giving Andrew Barth Feldman being in it is Fort Found and Draw. And I knew Jojana Gift was in it because you know that article Rachel Zegler did where she was just speaking facts?
Yeah.
Where she was like, I don't get why people are being racist to Francis Alma Rivers.
Yeah.
She explained that Jojana Gift connected them.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, yeah.
Okay. Patrick Page is in it, but I think that's more well known than the other ones.
I knew that. I knew that.
Obviously, Hadley Fraser is in it.
Obviously, our boy
Big
Hadley
fan.
Fraser. We're gonna talk about him soon.
I actually do really need to go and just see this fucking film.
You do.
But like, it's gonna piss me. I'm gonna be furious the whole time.
That's like how like I had to hold Toby's hand through Little Mermaid. His Little Mermaid crash outs were legendary. He liked Halle Bailey. He wasn't one of those. He just had like incredibly like niche nitpicks with the film, mostly aimed at his directors.
Yeah.
Next up, this is one of the things that had to be cut because now kept getting off track. But it makes more sense for it to be this week. And
Yeah.
I did also just start rambling about pop solo music because I find it so interesting. I was just talking about it. Orville Peck is going to not wear a mask during Cabaret. Now, if you're completely unaware, Orville Peck is not his real name. I don't know his real name because I think he likes a good separation of church and state.
Crazy way to phrase it.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah. We had actually another great phrase, and you were trying to explain this point to me earlier.
What did I say?
You said he wasn't masking.
I said a lot.
Controversially, Orville Peck is not masking at Cabaret.
You know, and so I don't know what his real name is, but it's a persona, and it's been kind of. I don't know how constructed it is, but I need to get into that. That seems like a fun into that rabbit hole for me to go down in.
He has a full face mask and
Yes.
a just eye mask.
But he wears the eye mask with a cowboy.
And he has a cowboy hat.
He has a cowboy hat because he's a country boy because he's inspired by Dolly Parton and Lana Del Rey, and so I just need to listen to his music. That's what this is. I need to listen to his music, but also like the same. I said this last week at Andrew Carter. I feel like it's a good point, so I'm saying it again. I feel like the same reason why it's a good idea for Taylor Swift to go see Cabaret is a good reason why another reason why it's a good idea for Orville Peck to go into Cabaret. It's because of the phone thing. Now, obviously, people don't stick to that. but it's a more controlled environment than like
Yeah.
other, you
I
know?
think as well, Orville Peck, he did a little article about it, or at
Yeah,
least he
and
did a quote.
I've read the article, don't you
Like,
worry.
I'm not Orville Peck on that
Yeah,
stage. I'm the MC.
I'm the
And the MC
MC.
has a role to play.
Yes.
That if I wear my mask, no one's going to watch it and think the MC, they're going to think Orville Peck.
Exactly, yeah. And it was very smart. And he was like, "This is my favorite musical. I'd do anything to be in it." And I was like, "I'm so charmed by him. I need to go listen
You
to
know
his
what?
music.
It seems I've grown quite fond of you, Orville Peck.
I've grown quite fond
There
of
are
it.
no romantic urges.
No romantic urges. I just need to get into his music because you know what I saw a clip of him doing the other week. I've seen two clips of Orville Peck. One of him singing Lana Del Rey covers, duh.
Mm.
And the other one of him, the Australian kids show, The Wiggles.
Yeah.
He did a song with The Wiggles called "Friend of Dorothy,"
Okay, icon.
and it was like,
Orville Peck, I've grown very fond of you.
and I was like, I'm charmed.
How would you like to be a guest on this podcast?
Yeah, oh, come on.
We haven't done a cabaret episode, but if it's your favorite musical, we could expedite it.
We could emphasize it. I just want to talk about music and influences with you. I think it'd be fascinating. This is massive for us, and we were just complaining because we can't go.
Get us to New York right now.
Right now. Titus Burgess, he started as a Mary Todd Lincoln and no Mary, and we're not going to be there to see it.
I would never in my life watch a bootleg.
No, I wouldn't disrespect Titus Burgess like that.
But if it fell into my lap,
I would be your best friend forever.
it might take me a little while to pause it and, click off is all I'm saying.
Yeah. And we would be besties forever then. That is a contract.
Oh, yeah.
This happened last week as we were recording, but I didn't actually sit down and investigate what it was because we were recording. Miscast to release a greatest hits album. This is massive for me.
This is huge.
This is...
There's a Rachel Zegler song on there.
Yeah, she's doing a song from Shrek, the modern icon she is.
The modern icon.
There's some bangers.
How many people know Rachel Zegler's history with Shrek? Because this is a big part of my knowledge of her.
It could be argued it's the only part of your knowledge because have you seen a movie she's been in?
No. No, I have not. I love her anyways.
That's fine.
I used to watch her YouTube videos, so.
That's also now just doesn't watch movies.
I don't watch movies, so it's nothing against her personally.
No. I mean, I'm not watching Shazam 2, love. I'm sorry. I think you're very talented.
Your the little indie one you did, Y2K.
Oh,
that one looks fun. I
would
might
go
watch
see
that.
that.
But it is shocking that I haven't seen A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Or West Side Story.
Because that is the one that is like West Side Story, yeah, as well, I guess. Her two big ones.
My voice is kind of hot and mad. We were watching it the other day.
Maybe I'll go see her for the first time in Snow White.
Anyway. Time for Bring It On. Bring It On is a musical with a book by Jeff Whitty, music by Tom Kitt and Lin-Manuel Miranda, and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Amanda Green. I'm sorry, what a fucking creative team. Every time.
Actually insane.
It astounds me. Because here's the thing. I've said this so many times. I've said this for years. Tom Kitt will do anything. Tom Kitt will literally do anything. I wish he would be more selective with his projects and give us something of caliber of Next to Normal, but he gave us Next to Normal, so I have to thank him. But it also does kind of infuriate me because I know the greatness he's capable of. What did he do last season? He did Hell's Kitchen. He did the vocal arrangements for Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And I will admit, his work on SpongeBob, very impressive because he was able to take all of that music and make it sound cohesive.
Oh yeah.
That's a real skill.
Yeah.
Anything else, Tom Kitt, please stop Brian Yorkie from doing whatever he's doing and get him back.
Oh, he did Jagged Little Pill as well.
I know! He's not done anything. Pisses me off.
He did If Slash Then. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. American Idiot.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on. Work as a ranger, orchestrator, music director. 13.
Yep. I liked his work on 13.
Pitch Perfect 2. Big.
Liked his work on Pitch Perfect too.
Yeah. Vocal arrangements. Head Over Heels, which we've actually talked about before.
It also had a book by Jeff Whitty.
Hang on.
It is based on the 2000s film of the same title, which pits two cheerleading teams from vastly different schools against each other. There have been four films. Um, I've never seen these films.
I
Yeah.
I've definitely seen clips.
I know the gist and I know the references because, again, Marty B used to like talk about them.
Mm.
So they're just kind of like about in the same way I know a lot about Twilight. I've never seen Twilight.
I fucking love Twilight. Oh
I've
my
never seen it.
God.
I'm still waiting for my friends to get back, for me and my friends to organise us watching Twilight for the first time. Because me and one of my friends have not watched it. Two of my friends want to watch it with us, but getting four people free on the same day to watch Twilight's really hard at the moment. Um,
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the films.
no,
I know what happens.
I know what happens in them. I've seen so many clips on TikTok.
Oh, no, same.
Let's be real. However,
To
it's
be
a
real,
new
I've seen most of it on TikTok, I
on
think.
TikTok. That scene where they're auditioning girls, I've seen
Mm.
that. That I'm sexy, I'm cute, I'm popular to boot.
The one where they find out where their cheers are being stolen from.
Um,
What a movie.
However, this would be a new version of the story with Jeff Whitty. Yes, the guy from Army UQ. Calling it an All About Eve story, with it first being announced in 2009, aiming for a regional staging in 2011. So, one of the big questions I had going into this was, why the fuck is Lin-Manuel Miranda there?
Why not?
Jeff Whitty? Yeah, sure. Tom Kit, we've established. Mans will do anything. Amanda Green was just getting her career started at the time, and it makes sense to have a woman writing on this team. Lynn? Straight off of Hamilton, Lynn? I had questions. Not Hamilton, In the Heights, Lynn. Um, so it seems like he was motivated by In the Heights closing and Hamilton being in its very early stages of development, with him saying, I wrote the King George song on our honeymoon without a piano around. So that was one of the start pistol of, oh shit. I don't. He got the call that In the Heights was closing on his honeymoon. Meant to end that. I didn't have a show running on Broadway, which is my steady source of income. But at the same time, I was a big film buff growing up. And the book whose advice I really valued concerning that first albumness of In the Heights was Robert Rodriguez, Rebel Without a Crew. And he said, don't let them know what your sophomore project is. And just went and did, and he just went and did a bunch of random shit. He did 4 Rooms. He did a Showtime movie. He did so many random little things that they couldn't say, well, what's your next move? And so I did this. I did the West Side Story translation. I co-wrote Bring It On. And with each one, I never knew in my soul or bones how to write a musical about cheerleading. I knew I'd learn a lot from watching Andy Blankenmuller directing and writing with Tom Kit, who to me is one of the best melodists of our generation. Exactly, and that's my beef with Tom Kit not doing anything good. Is he's so talented. Watching him think through an idea and to see he's got this filter, it was like, oh, I'm going to learn some moves. With him going on further to say, I think when they asked him, he was like, this is what he had to say. I slept on it, and the next morning I was like, that is a room I want to be in. He would then say, I was constantly learning new things. I had to write backward for Bring It On because Andy was so specific about the tempos of the songs he wanted. So I'd start with a tempo, it would start with the beats per minute, and he would be like, you know how directors like just speak in like, I don't know how to describe it, but they speak in like not full words, like sounds.
Hmm.
That's what they've got written down. And I would write that down, and then I'd start a song backwards for the rhythm. He had it all in his head, which was great because now I know what I'm doing. I knew that with Hamilton in my pocket, I needed to focus and get it done, and that was the hard part because I also have a family and I'm trying to support them. So he was kind of like, I kind of wanted to buy my time to write my magnum opus, so I did Bring It On the musical. Yeah, as I say here, Tom Kit will do anything. I cannot find anything about how he got involved. Amanda Green was his high fidelity collaborator. They'd have Andy Blanky be the director, and it would premiere at the Alliance Theatre on the 28th of January 2011. This production would star Adrian Warren, who just started performances in the last 5 years. So sorry, love. You look great. And Ariana DeBose would be in the ensemble. It would play a 13-city national tour with it starting in Los Angeles and then going to Houston, Chicago, and Toronto. While it was in LA, Bring It On the musical would encounter a lawsuit with Jessica. How do you say that name?
Bendinger?
Bendinger, who wrote the screenplay, claims that the musical's producer never acquired or received permission to use her executive rights, with her claiming um, she was planning on writing her own stage version of the movie for several years with producer Mark Platt
Yes!
at Universal. Platt was the producer of the long-running hit Wicked. We know.
Trust me. Everyone,
For us.
we know.
We know. One of my favorite quotes. It's up there with guys who's not in it.
Bad news.
Bad news. And hi, my name's Mark. In 2004, she says she met with Whitty and wanted to collaborate with her, but the partnership never materialized. After she learned about the completing of the stage project, Brendinger said she was willing. She had a meeting with Beacon executive Charlie Lyons, which discussed the possibility of working something else. But later she learned that Beacon was going to use the Bring It On title rights, essentially the name of the movie, and they were going to give her a token amount for her not to use the rights on the material. She would go on to say that audiences are likely to assume that the movie and musical are related, but the producers are banking on that confusion and in the process capitalizing on my rights, she said. She claims that the creative team behind the musical have used the story and merely altered the plot, elements, and some character names. It's the movie with some convenient details changed, she said in a recent interview. But if it's original, how do they get that idea? She said that she would allow Bring It On the musical to proceed if she was properly credited and compensated. And basically, the article is kind of like movie musicals do kind of live in a weird, like, sometimes they live in like a weird middle ground. Because you know how, like, I don't know, the example the article used is Legally Blonde is also technically based off of the book Legally Blonde that the movie was based on. So it's like when something gets adapted as much as something gets adapted, what's it based off of? So like Carrie the musical, whilst it involves some of my favorite musical of all time, Carrie, my favorite film. Whilst Carrie is technically based off of the movie, it's legally based off of the Stephen King novel.
Yeah. It's the same with Wicked.
Yes.
Which makes more sense because it is based off the book Wicked. But it very obviously takes so much inspiration from the MGM Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. They play off of the assumption that everyone knows the Wizard of Oz.
And just that's the green thing. She's not green in the book, but she's green in the film, and the film is so well known that they kind of just let you get away with making her green.
Yes.
They're beef with the red slippers though.
But that makes sense because those red slippers are fucking iconic.
Yeah.
They would reach a settlement. It would then transfer to Broadway to the St. James Theatre in July 2012, with an opening in the summertime for a limited run, with official opening being set for the 1st of August. Happy Tuck Day, guys.
Day for us.
Big day for us. And it being scheduled to run through the 7th of October. It would boast 32 Broadway debuts, making it a modern day record, with 30 out of the 35 cast members making their debut. Aside, don't know why there's 2 different numbers written down. That is copy and pasted from Playbill.
Is it 32? So it's like 2 like alternates or understudies.
I assume it's something like that.
Were also making a debut.
Yeah.
So when it actually opened, 30 of them were on stage.
Yes. Yeah, I assume it must be something like that. Aside from the Broadway spectacles of the Golden Age, a spokesperson for Actors Equity Association confirmed to Playbill, it's thought that Bring It On has one of the most Broadway debuts in recent times. Close seconds were last season's Jesus Christ Superstar, that gave 23 actors their Broadway debut, and Newsies, the Disney musical, which welcomed 13 Broadway newcomers. Some of these people who would be making Broadway debuts, I mean, we've never heard from them again. Never. Their names: Taylor Louderman, Adrian Warren, and Ariana DeBose.
Just some, random nobodies.
Nobody's. Without Bring It On, we wouldn't have Angela Bassett did the thing.
Which is the most iconic thing to come out of all of those people.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
Not her amazing performance as Anita.
No.
No. It's Angela Bassett did the thing.
Angela
Um,
Bassett did the thing.
Bassett did the thing. It would officially open on the 1st of August 2012 at the St.
Happy Tuck Day.
Theatre. I'm going to take up some water before I start this. Cheerleading, that most American of pastimes, is not likely to become an Olympic sport anytime soon, yet highly acrobatic, gasp-inducing style of its cis boom bar competition celebrated in Bring It On the Musical, which opened Wednesday night at the St. James Theatre, almost makes you believe that it should be. This cast of alternate snarky and sentimental show about rival high school cheer squads often seems to be in constant motion, tumbling, flipping across the stage in elaborate routines that circumvent in towering formations of human pyramids. Such high-energy gymnastics are an animating force that the primary distinguishing element in this peppy teen angst musical aimed squarely at the Glee demographic, adolescents. Their chaperones and the nostalgically adolescent, sorry. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This would obviously include the devoted fans of the movie on which the new musical, like almost every new musical I'm tempted to add, is based. A cave warning for cultish devotees of the musical and its several sequels. While the musical is inspired by the film, it is no means a stage fancy smile of it. Aside from the title and the cheerleading, the musical, which is almost wholly original, if you can call a show that relies so bitterly on familiar formulas or cliches for its fictional depictions of adolescence. Bring It On trots merrily through several predictable subplots, almost bounding across the social and racial divide. Campbell, a insider, is suddenly the awkward outsider, anxious about fitting in, whilst their fellow redistrictee, the chubby Bridget, finds her outre fashion sense has qualified her a freak at Truman, gives her some steep street cachet at Jackson. Both girls acquire adoring, cute boyfriends with skin tones a few shades darker than theirs. Okay, New York Times. With Campbell convincing Danielle to transform the dance crew into a cheer squad. She's determined to outwit the perky and generally evil Ava. They call her Ava even though her name's written like Eva. I don't know. Like, if you listen to it, when I saw it, because I've seen Bring It On, they call her Ava.
Mm.
Campbell's former protege, whose scheming has brought her to the top of the Truman cheer pyramid. Mr. Whitty has a good sense to poke fun at the musical's well-worn narrative dynamics. As the show moves through its irresistible cheer-off climax, the satisfied Skylar reflects, "Oh my god, everyone has been through this. It's like personal growth, but I'm the exact person I was a year ago." Beaming a smile, she adds, "Well, I like myself. Always did. As for drag queen, Lassianica," we're going to talk about Lassianica, like, in a minute. I've got quotes and stuff, because it's fascinating. Embraced by the supposedly tough crowd at Jackson with perpetuous warmth, Gregory Haley has his fair share of ingratiating, snappy dialogue. Central roles are more generically written, but Miss Latimer and Miss Warren are warm, likable presences. But it's when the cast members stop brooding and mean girl bitching and take part in Mr. Blanky-Beeler's exciting cheerleading routines, arranging themselves into dazzling human starbursts that Bring It On really brings something fresh to the ever-expanding roster of shows aimed at the teen demographic. The Hollywood Reporter would say, "Is it a show destined for the musical theatre pantheon? Unlikely, but it score points by revealing rather than replicating source material, sampling through a tasty selection of pop culture favourites, and the sheer athleticism of the event numbers, whirling cheerleaders catapulted into the air and then caught in a grasp, including basket tosses, provides enough genuine thrills to compensate for the stop-start storytelling. When the girls are airborne, the show soars. The book by Jeff Whitty has a dash of Mean Girls Clueless, of Friday Night Lights, and Glee. Every review mentions Glee, and it stirs the convincing All About Eve subplot with a hint of single white female psychosis. The score is a team effort with music by Tom Kitt and Lin-Manuel Miranda and lyrics by Amanda Green and Miranda. Appealing, if not instantly memorable, the songs range from traditional Broadway to pop to R&B, from melodic hip-hop to motor mouth rap, rather unmistakably coming from Miranda's skilled hand. In One Perfect Moment, there is also an I Wish number that adheres to the time-honored classic of the Disney Princess song. It's a credit to Whitty and his musical collaborators that they resist the obvious formulaic discussion and instead turn it into a message of pushing the importance of solidarity, personal integrity, and self-esteem over the competition and conformity. When the aerobic ensemble of their dancers and athletes flip and fly through the air, forming pyramids or serving as human stilts for their fellow cast members, it beats an impressive feat. Their feats are as impressive as anything happening in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. There is not a harness in sight. Nell pricked her head up at Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Everywhere.
Haunting.
Everywhere. Vulture would say, after describing, after they would say that the plot, after describing the main plot, wincing already, I was. Not on the prospect of all the sticky spirit or the culture class storyline, historically cringe-worthy territory for Broadway, i.e. the last spot on earth where suburban whites attempting urban slang considered grounds of unconditional hilarity. I blinched, I flinched, and then to my surprise and delight, I applauded. Repeatedly. Bring It On gives fierce face, but it also backs up that glittering grill with just enough slew and substance. Musical, physical, textual. Put it in trophy competition as worthy. Weightless delight, a guilty pleasure you don't feel too guilty about. Perhaps it's not surprising, given the creative team on deck after all. If Tom Kitt, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Amanda Green can't engineer a contemporary hip-hop dance musical comedy with significant assists from Jeff Whitty's tiny libretto, then no one can. Bring It On doesn't exactly a hook factory. Its show tunes are swirling, strenuous top 40-ish stuff, with no hugely distinctive riffage, but the dynamic and harmonic textures created by Kit, Miranda, and arranger Alex Lacamoire do unmistakable advance of the pop Broadway norm. The muscular beat-driven tapestries, all sincerely alongside the other character songs, all yearning and ballady. It's music that fits the subject. No more flanks than score. The music obviously is a production of Team Think, but it's obvious that the team in question are a team, not a loose conundrum of contactness. Only with discipline and coordination does a show arrive at the chunk of grind featuring a leprechaun mascot, which doubles as a credible love at first sight meeting montage. The team also gets enormous lifts, literal or less so, by director of In the Heights, choreographer Andy Blankenbuehler, who keeps Bring It On veins running with Red Bull. But all the energy is controlled, not manic or desperate or cheap or gritty. And while our basket tossers and zero G's somersaults are certainly to keep our hearts lodged firmly in our throats, the show doesn't overly rely on stunts, though they are plenty sensational. As for show stealers, it is a talent. Whitty's expansive, Bridges-filled script, a complete rewrite of the movie's plot, gives generous stage time and plenty full spotlight moments to an array of supporting characters, most of which read as mere stock role throwaways. If the show's chemistry was even a hair off, Ryan Redmond slays us as Bridget. Wow! Slay in 2012!
Fun.
Nerdy big-boned cheerleader wannabe who ends up with her own storyline. Gregory Haney is handed a Cadillac of an opportunity, La Cienega. A transgender inner-city dance diva, he puts his pedal to the metal. This uniformly strong troop, they move as a single organism. I thought I'd outgrown pep rallies. I thought this. I suppose since the age of 14, this one rallied me. Perhaps basket tosses look even higher when the expectations are in the basement. Or perhaps it is just a very fine show that knows what it is and uses what it's got and doesn't have any second thoughts. Bring it on. Oh, it's synopsis time.
Oh, it's turning our lights on.
Yeah. Where's my phone?
Um,
It's a long one today.
yeah, I know. In Bring It On, the musical, the high-stakes world of competitive cheerleading is intertwined with cutthroat high school politics to tell the story of Campbell, the heir apparent to the head cheerleader at Truman High School. Campbell is at the top of the cheerleader pyramid, and she has it all: a strong squad, a doting boyfriend, and a straight path to the national championships. Her entire life has been dedicated to honing routines and staying within the strict rules and guidelines. But when a surprise letter arrives, Campbell's world is thrown upside down. I guess, yeah.
That is Bring It On.
Yeah. I guess a big part of Bring It On is that people at least vaguely know what the movie is.
Yeah, people know cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn on my lights.
One thing I was gonna say is I'm not a teenager anymore, thank God.
Yeah. Thank God.
And when I was a teenager, I was really into all of those shows about teenagers, because obviously.
Mm.
And ever since I stopped being one, I don't really listen to them. And if I do, I'll listen to this, I don't find myself having as good of a time.
I think they're kind of nostalgic.
Yeah, no, but what I was saying about not listening to a lot of teen stuff, I listened to Bring It On while I was doing this, and I was like, wait, this is really good.
Yeah.
I'm having a really fun time right now. And Bring It On is the most silly, goofy musical ever. And it doesn't really want to be anything but a bit silly and goofy. And I think a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that his name went down. Jeff Whitty, who wrote the book for fucking Avenue Q, the musical which is incapable of taking anything seriously, wrote the book.
I think just kind of objectively Bring It On is really, really fun. A lot of my whenever I listen to it, I get quite nostalgic because I used to listen to it when I was a teenager. So not all of that nostalgia is good. I was a teenager. Yeah. But I think it's a really, really fun show. Both just what it's doing, the plot, the way it's performed.
Oh my God.
But from a technical aspect.
Oh my
choreography,
God,
the music.
I was thinking about this.
It was great.
How the fuck were they doing this 8 times a week?
I know.
I saw it when it was at the South Bank Centre. They were throwing people about. Like it was nobody's business. It was stunning. There was a guy in there who was probably watching cheerleading for the first time in his life. Obviously, we're British. It's such an American concept. And I turned to my friend after it was over and I was like, Karis, this man needs to go watch Cheer on Netflix now.
To be fair, that was the exact point I was going to make. That we don't really have cheerleading here. In university, we do a lot more.
Universities have cheer.
I only know that because one of my kind of friends is in my university's cheer squad, so I've been to a couple things for that. So I know it a lot more. But I think because it's not as big of a thing over here, is it just America, every high school has a cheerleader, cheerleading team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just so much more entertaining to watch.
Another thing I'd like to say. Because I saw a tweet of someone joking. Did you watch the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders show on Netflix?
I did not. I watched it by proxy, by which I mean TikTok. At least one person asked, "Did you watch this?" And I said, "Yeah, I loved it," and then talked about it with them. So I know what it's about.
I didn't think
I have not actually watched it.
I didn't think you would have. I'm going to be so real.
Yeah.
But you know the gist of it follows the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people in the UK, there's a deep fascination about cheerleaders because they are just such an American ideal.
Yeah.
You know, the Dallas Cowboys show, I think it's actually called America's Sweethearts. Because they are such an exploration of what womanhood is, or girlhood is. Such a projection of that, because they always have to have the perfect hair. and you know you have to have like a certain type of body if you're going to be thrown up in the air and um and all the rest of it. And often they are white. And I think Bring It On the Musical doesn't strive to solve the injustices in the world, but you could say it makes a lot more of an effort than some other musicals do.
Yeah.
One thing that I really appreciate about Bring It On is that they do often just like allow these characters to live.
Mm.
I mean, someone like Bridget is so openly celebrated and accepted, and like Campbell comes into the school and is like, "Why isn't everyone else following to like?" She goes to Jackson High, and like everyone else isn't following into her ideal of womanhood, and she's like so confused, and she has to be told like, "No, girl, not everyone's like you,"
Yeah.
and like we're valid in other ways. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in relation to this is the character of La Cienega.
Mm.
Because this is memory here, and I could not find a source for it. So, I could be wrong. But there was a very interesting Playbill article from the time it was out talking about the character of La Cienega. Because as it says, in creating the universe characters, I always try to find as many different perspectives as possible. Because that's where most of the comedy comes from often, says Bring It On book writer Jeff Whitty. Although Haney's muscles may raise an eyebrow or two, there's no mention in the dialogue of whether that she is transgender. Whitty says he doesn't want La Cienega's inclusion to become too... What does that word say? Shireen in an after-school... Satcherine. In an after-school special kind of way where the character is forced to explain herself, delivering a heavy-handed lesson. In case they become the other way, they're always a separate person. Which allows the audience to put them in a box and always be in a box. Whatever I thought I wanted to have a transgender high school student, my next thought is, I never want to bring it up. I never want to discuss it in the script. And the audience can't see La Cienega as other because they have to become her friend. That, more than anything, is how progress is made. And this idea is still pretty out there, you know? Pretty radical. Because let's be real, trans representation in musical theatre is still really shit.
Yeah.
And if there is a Jagged Little Pill attempted something, but instead of it just being like instead of like the character having an actual story away from their transness, or they were non-binary. I cannot remember.
I don't know off the top of my head.
90% sure they were non-binary. Their plot was mainly about being non-binary and the issues that presented. Whereas the more and more I think about it, the more and more revolutionary in 2012, and it could be argued we've gone back since then.
Almost definitely.
It was just to kind of like have a transgender character and never explain it, especially in high school.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the reviews were like, I cannot believe these high schoolers are accepting La Cienega. And it's like, that's none of your business. They also accept Campbell in the end. But also, like, it was so interesting that the Vulture article was the only one to, like, outwardly just say they are transgender. Because the New York Times review says, calls La Cienega a drag queen. Well, that's something different because they don't have the exact right terminology for it yet.
Yeah.
And I mean, another, they say, like, there's an example of this in the article talking about the lawsuit. The musical invents supporting characters that don't exist in the movie, including a cross-dressing student named La Cienega, with Whitty saying about it, so people who still don't understand the language, to use the word transgender instead of drag queen. However, he doesn't take issues with critics calling his rosy utopian view of high school's accepting environment. La Cienega isn't bullied or harassed. I completely live with that. It's refreshing to me to have this kind of story. I want to be immersed in the world that I want to be in. I don't know, it's Bring On the Musical, like, it's ridiculous. they're doing like backflips every so often, and everyone was like, "Wait, but they're accepting a transgender person." It's like, yeah,
Yeah. It's one of those things that it feels like in 2012 the stakes were so much lower
yes,
because like you're saying, a lot of the reviews are just, huh? How was this? Like, how are they fine with this?
they
And not
made a
really
good
any,
song.
yeah, and not much further than that. Whereas today, I think if you were trying to like do Bring It On for like this version of Bring It On for the first time today, you would have so much about like what are the producers trying to say? You know, doing a show aimed at high school children
High school children
and
in
putting a
sports,
trans person in there?
trans
What the fuck?
trans people in sports. How dare they?
Yeah. And it's not that things have definitely changed, not for the better in a lot of ways, but it just feels so strange that you have this thing from over 10 years ago
Yeah,
that, is it the best representation ever? No.
but the characters
But
are
is it
allowed.
fine? Yeah.
But it's also like it might be one of the best. Like I can't. I also like. I mean, I know Hedwig and the Angry Inch
Mm,
vaguely. I need to read more about that, if I'm going to be honest.
yeah.
But like, I don't know if I can name another trans character in musical theatre that's just kind of allowed to exist.
It almost feels like the less effort they put in,
Yeah,
the better. And I think that's fair enough because
yeah.
I feel like when you're putting so much effort into trying to make this like great representation, it just becomes fake.
And also, it's like the thing of audiences don't want to be preached to.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
let
actually
me
really
go.
trying to think of a single other musical with a trans character.
Yeah,
That's like,
Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Jagged Little Pill. That's all I got.
I'm sure there's more.
There's probably more. I'm thinking of a ton of headcanons from about 2017 right now, but
Oh, no, same.
they're all headcanons, guys.
That's to me, bro. I'm thinking of them. But,
I like the ones that are always like Conor Murphy, and it's like you know nothing about Conor Murphy, guys.
dude, you can't even get me started because I can go off.
I know you can.
Musicals with trans characters. Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't think this is true. Okay. Rocky Horror. Mm,
Eh,
eh.
debate to be had.
Again, kind of, but I don't know if it's just a different, like, okay, you know what? I've just found queermusicals.com.
Okay.
This will be great. Okay, a lot of these are quite modern, so I'm not willing to like
What are they? Because I'm curious now.
Shapeshifters and Wonder Boy are
Interesting.
superhero musicals with central trans characters.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually quite an interesting article. Um, there's a show called online show called Bad Quiz
Mm-hmm.
that explores characters that identify across the LGBTQ community. Okay, Jagged Little Pill and Juliet.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot about Aunt Juliet. I
Yeah,
forget
head
the
over
plot.
heels.
I forget. Oh, I forget the entire plot of Aunt Juliet. I have seen it. But no, but May is an important character if we're talking about the canon here. And May
Priscilla.
does, huh? May does get to sing the banger tune of not a girl yet, not yet a woman.
Yeah.
And there is a very cynical part of my brain that thinks that might have been the only reason for the inclusion.
Yeah. Okay, someone's put Some Like It Hot.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm on Reddit right now, so
Oh,
to get
there
into
are
good stuff.
bangers to be found on Reddit.
Angel in Rent.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. So how did I forget? Again, my brain is gone. Mwah.
Oh, How to Dance in Ohio. Yeah.
I'm
Non-binary.
actually not too familiar with the entire plot of How to Dance in Ohio. I know the
I'm
vibe.
pretty sure it's non-binary. It's sorry.
There's a character.
It is a non-binary character.
Yeah.
Head over heels.
A musical is a myth that is a mystery to me, and now we talk about it often.
I just sometimes forget it exists.
Is
Sorry.
it?
People also ask, are there any trans men on Broadway? I promise you, yes. There's one thing I can promise you. Yes. Plays and musicals for trans awareness. So there's a musical called Southern Comfort,
Mm.
which is based on the 2001 Sundance Film Festival documentary Southern Comfort.
Mm.
And it follows the last year of Robert Eads, a transgender man in Georgia, as he is diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
That's sad, but also a really good musical
It's very
concept.
interesting.
I'd like to see that.
Um, yeah.
Google that.
Apparently it was in the UK.
I should Google that.
I mean, we got Pride Month coming up.
We do, but I feel like we're doing our double bill.
Is that for Pride Month?
Well, it's Tony season, isn't it?
Our favorite LGBTQ musicals below. Chorus line.
There is a gay man in it.
Cabaret.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is gender and cabaret as a whole episode.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hate this website. I hate this website.
Why? What they say?
No, it's just awful.
Oh, is it awfully formatted?
Yeah. Kinky Boots. I hate this website.
Oh, Kinky! Yes, Kinky Boots is the same
It
season.
is true. I just don't like Kinky Boots. They've got Bear though, so
Yeah, but
I'm sure you'll like it.
Bear is important.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Also important. Priscilla the Queen
Fun
of the Desert.
Home. We know about
Fun Home is very important.
Hedwig. We know about
Also,
Hedwig. We should do Hedwig.
we should do. We threw out Hedwig last year as an idea.
Jamie.
Jamie is drag queen.
Yeah.
See,
Rocky Horror.
I think there's a lot of musicals about drag queens.
Yeah.
I feel like that RuPaul clip, a drag queen.
A drag queen.
And Jimmy Kimmel looks so scared that he's just said something wrong.
The color purple isn't trans, but it is queer.
It is, Celie is gay.
Yeah.
Or bi. No, Celie's gay, Sugar's bi, and they have a fight about it. I weep like a baby at the end of The Color Purple every time. The book. I've not really gotten to the musical. But I have watched Cynthia Erivo's performance of I Am Here. Oh yeah. Trust.
A Strange Loop?
Yes, to A Strange Loop. We should have seen that when I was in London.
Yep.
We almost bought tickets and there were none cheap enough.
Yeah. My son's a queer, but what can you do? Again, not really trying. Hold on, I found an Instagram video.
Okay.
Which I trust. Trans rep in musicals. There are 13 transgender lead characters in the musical theatre canon, as I know it. Okay. They've got a main character spreadsheet. Oh my God. I'm looking. Hold on.
Spreadsheet?
Someone has a spreadsheet of a list. I'm not even showing you. A spreadsheet of all the main characters of different musicals, with then a section of it dedicated to the minority communities they're a part of. I think you need to get in touch with
so 2020 Tumblr.
I just want to let you know that a guy who bullies me for liking musicals follows this person.
Oh,
so
that's amazing.
Almost 1,000 musicals on this spreadsheet. Hold on.
I think I've seen this spreadsheet before.
Why Am I So Single? Okay, that's on us for missing that.
Yes! Sorry, I still have not listened to Why Am I So Single, but we were talking about it when we were talking about the Oliviers.
New musical called Third Sex.
Sure, not aware of it, but yeah.
Okay, that's quite fun. It's like 1930s Germany, so fun.
Oh, interesting.
Some Like It Hot. No.
Nell's invalidating Some Like It Hot.
I don't like Some Like It Hot. What's this one called? Sorry, I zoned out. Romantics. Okay. Bold take. Ride the Cyclone. For Noel.
He dreams of being a French prostitute, correct?
So the thing is the way you can say it most simply is he dreams of being a woman, which when put like that, I get it.
Yes.
But it is all, to me at least, it has always felt more about his sexuality than his gender.
And it's like a fantasy because he's like, I want to be in pre-war Paris.
Yeah. Apparently, okay, this person is saying that the fantasy is not to be a woman, it is to be a trans woman.
That is an interesting interpretation.
So it's a trans prostitute, which is very interesting, actually. That's fun. I think that one's a little bit vague, so...
Which one?
Ride the Cyclone.
Again, I thought it was someone's headcanon for a second, and I was like, no.
My sons are queer, but what can you do? Yeah. The Garden of Good and Evil.
Oh, yes, that's supposed to be coming to Broadway next season.
Yeah. This is recent, then.
Jason Robert Brown.
Mayflies, which has queer and trans optional characters. Okay.
Interesting.
Kill the Whale? Question mark, because the descriptions that are available online for Kill the Whale are pretty confusing. Okay. Jagged Little Pill.
Do they say non-binary? Pretty sure I'm right with that.
Before Broadway, they were explicitly a trans non-binary, but now it's more vague.
Yeah, and they got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah.
That, like, Jagged Little Pill was kind of just like, how many social issues can we fit into one?
How to Dance in Ohio. This guy's talking a lot, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
wish you could put videos in 2 times speed.
I love a bit of two times speed, me.
Yeah. Hedwig and Head Over Heels. We gotta
Yeah.
get into Head Over Heels.
We need someone send us a Head Over the Heels bootleg, please.
The song cycle Eight Immortals, which has a trans character, and one
Nice.
whole song dedicated to that person's experience.
Nice.
The Civility of Albert Cashier,
Mm-hmm.
which is about a real life trans guy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, sorry, I've just seen what the next one coming up is, and that's quite funny.
What was
But
it?
so that one's about a real life trans guy who served in the army. That
Okay.
sounds interesting. And then next up, they have Cats the Jellicle Bull.
Who?
Grisabella is played by a trans person in that adaptation.
Oh, I missed the Jellicle Ball part, and I was like, Andrew Lloyd Webber was not writing trans characters ever. Oh no, wait, did he? No, he wrote a gay character in Bad Cinderella.
Yep. Okay. So just for reference, they had like 17 musicals listed, and a lot of them were like small indie ones.
What's interesting
Time
to
out
know,
trans characters in New York theaters from the 1970s to today.
what's interesting to note about the Head Over Heels of it all is again Jeff Whitty wrote the book for that.
Mm,
He's doing quite a lot for trans
yeah.
representation.
I don't think you can call Madame Butterfly trans rap, personally.
My only
But
reference to the plot of Madame Butterfly is it Madame Butterfly the play or the Puccini opera?
so there is an opera, and then there is a play inspired by the opera.
Yes,
This one's talking about the play.
By David Henry Hwang, who wrote Yellowface.
Yeah. But it's a the way Time Out has described it is a male Chinese spy who successfully masquerades as a woman during a 2-decade affair with a Western civil servant. I didn't know if you knew the plot of Madame
No,
Butterfly.
no, I thought I did because because it inspires the plot of Miss Saigon. It's technically an
Yeah,
adaptation, so I thought that there was a child.
maybe.
Because obviously, like the character that becomes Kim in Miss Saigon has to birth a child and then kill herself. Spoilers for Miss Saigon.
I am, by the way, I'm skipping over a lot of these until one like
No,
jumps out as being recognizable to me.
yeah,
Because I do think what we're trying to talk about here is that mainstream representation.
and like Bring It On the musical
Yeah.
has had a life outside of Broadway.
Yeah.
People talk about it.
Yeah.
It is referenced. I think because it's Bring It On the musical, it's a recognizable name, but also because of the Lynn of it all.
Mm.
Like when I was a snarky, pretentious teenager, I was like 16. I used to be like,
Yeah.
my favorite Lin-Manuel Miranda is Bring It On,
Let's bring it on.
and I was only half joking. I was just being a pretentious little shit. Like you didn't know he wrote the music for that? It's like, go, get a grip, take a chill
I'm
pill.
still like that now about Limo on Miranda, to be honest. I
No,
have a
but
friend who really doesn't like him, and I'm like, just wait.
play
She'll be like,
play her some Bring It On and be like,
she was talking about, she was like, oh, I really loved Encanto. And I was like, guess what?
guess who's there?
Guess what, girl?
How can you not? I forget that some people don't have like a Lin song thing built into their head where they're like, oh, that's a Lin-Manuel Miranda song.
It's so good.
Like I heard I heard a piece of music from Encanto and I was like, where's Lin?
Where is he?
I heard We Don't Talk About Bruno and I heard the overlapping music. Oh, that's a great thing he adds to Bring It On.
He just has that Lin-Manuel Miranda touch.
That touch. And I don't want to hear Tom Kett, I love you. I'm mean about you sometimes, but because I don't think you're living up to your potential.
I love you, really.
My critiques of Tom Kett come from a deep, deep place of love. I don't want to hear Tom Kett attempt to do the Jackson High stuff. I don't want to hear what Tom Kett by himself will come up with for Jackson Night or whatever it's called. Like, or even like the song Bring It On where they're all overlapping each other. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But as I said, the book is very funny. Should I tell you about one of my favorite moments in Bring It On when I saw it?
Yeah, Oh, I think I've heard this.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about it because I think it was genuinely really funny. And again, I I think Jeff Whitty doing the book just like lends itself perfectly to this.
Yeah.
If you don't
I
know
think
what,
it's also if it's what you're yeah, it is. I think it's also just it's a show that really doesn't take itself too seriously. And so it
yeah,
can make fun of itself and it still work.
and it does make fun of itself, especially like in the UK context, because like we see cheerleaders and we're like, that is a caricature of musical of
Yeah.
like Americans. So basically, in the UK, Campbell was played by Amber Davies, who won Love Island, in one of his big seasons.
It was a
Um,
really early season as
it
well.
was one of the first ones to really catch on.
We should look it up again because I swear I've looked this up
We've
before.
looked it up when we were talking about Gatsby.
Yeah. But resume browsing. Yep.
Yeah,
Media. Third series of Love Island in 2017. This was when Love Island was like big. Did you watch Love Island in 2017? Because I think I
I've
did.
I think I've definitely seen episodes of her series. I don't know if I watched it all the way through, but I felt like everyone was watching it, so if you weren't, you were missing out.
It was 2017 or 18, maybe up to 19, where I remember like
It was
being in
really
school and genuinely talking about it. I mean, like, are you going to go home and watch like Love Island? Have you
it was
watched Love Island from last night?
yeah, so she won it with Ken, and it was Ken and Chris who were massive.
Mm.
And it was I think it was when they were still allowed to to like swear a lot more.
Let's get into the lore of Love Island
No,
really quick.
you know what I mean. Like, I'm building to a
Yeah.
point. They were allowed to swear, they were allowed to smoke, and it was overall just a lot more.
It didn't
Uh,
have the sponsors it has now, and
no,
so it didn't have the
Pretty
like
Little Thing.
reputation to unhold.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Pretty Little Thing was not like in its back pocket, being like, "Can you guys stop swearing?" And also, like people going on it didn't really know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't like now where you go in expecting a blue check mark and a Pretty Little Thing brand deal in your inbox, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so she wins that, and obviously, like Love Island, it was a mess in like a very entertaining way that few reality TV show is. And so there's a line when Campbell's trying to convince Danielle to like do it, and they're like, "You'll get on TV if you will," and she's lying to them, and she's being like, "We're gonna be on TV, and it's all gonna be great, and we're all gonna get all this money," and they're all like, "Oh, TV, fame, money seems things I'm interested in. I'm 16." But Danielle's not convinced. She's like, "And who would want to embarrass themselves on national TV?" And we're all like, "Oh God, that's a girl from Love who won Love Island. Are we allowed to laugh?" We all had I had a moment where I was like, I went to laugh and I was like, that might be a bit rude if I laugh. And then she like slowly deadpans to the audience to like break the fourth wall.
She is hilarious.
And I was like, oh my God, this girl can take a massive joke on herself. Because before I was like, again, I was a little shit of a teenager with an individuality complex.
Mhm.
I'm really outing myself as a little shit this week.
I
Uh,
would say that the almost 2 years of doing this podcast have helped you with that.
or outing myself as a little shit.
About half of the things when we get to the our thoughts section, about half of the things we say is so when I was like a bitch when I was 15,
Well,
this is what I
everyone
thought
was a
about
bitch when they were 15. I'm sorry, find me someone who wasn't like a little shit when they were 15.
me. I was a
Bitch.
delight.
Joking.
Wow.
You just say you bully me all the time.
Not when I was 15.
No, I'm joking.
Let's
I'm
be
joking.
clear. When we were 15, I was a lovely young lady.
Yeah.
But then Esme corrupted me.
And then yeah, that's definitely how it happened.
Nothing else.
Nothing else happened. Oh my God, I should tell you about something I did this week once we're done recording.
God. Let's speed this up. It's 7 p.m. by the way.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
hope you keep my timestamps in.
yeah. Anyway, I walked in being like, like I'm sure she can sing because she has musical theatre training, but like side-eyeing she was on Love Island, and then that moment
She was
happened.
on Love Island, so
And then that moment happened, and I was like, oh great. Oh wait, no, she's funny and she can make a joke out of herself. Chill.
yeah.
Such a little shit. I watched it the same week we watched Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, okay.
Just so that
I'll
you
excuse it. I'll allow it.
remember the frequency my brain was like going at. I was like, I saw Jeremy Jordan and Frances McCann in Bonnie and Clyde this week. Now I'm like, bring it on the musical.
Now I bring it on. And
Anyway,
there's this old Love Island star there.
ugh,
God, stunt cast.
Stunt casting is bad, even though like they didn't need stunt casting then in 2021.
I've just seen Jeremy Jordan in Bonnie and Clyde. Stunt casting's bad, by the way.
Guys, I just found out Jeremy Jordan's like 5'8".
I've just seen 40-year-old Jeremy Jordan in Bonnie and Clyde playing Clyde Barrow, who died when he was like 20. Casting's really bad, by the way. I hate it.
Huh?
Stunt casting's really bad, by the way. I hate it.
Bonnie and Clyde was never going to get another production without him going, yeah, I'll do it. And Laura was too busy being a trumper.
She actually wasn't too busy. She just didn't want to get vaccinated.
Well, no, she was too busy being a trumpy.
Yeah. So thank God Frances Maina McCann stepped in.
Honestly, I love Frances Maina McCann so much.
My icon. My queen.
Such a legend. It would... Do you have any last thoughts on Bring It On?
Love it.
Love.
I was saying to my friend George, because I think I told you this last week, he made fun of me for listening to Jeff Buckley, and he was like, "You're basic as hell."
I don't think Jeff
First of all,
Buckley's basic. I'm going to be so real with you. You know what?
No, to be fair, it was because I was talking about listening to Taylor Swift, and then I said, I'm listening to her less because I've actually been getting really into Jeff Buckley lately. He was like, you are basic as hell.
I've been listening to like Jeff Buckley on and off and being like, wow, I understand him, and then being like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
Like, I just really get what he's saying.
No,
I really get what he's saying.
It's like when the Blue Bannisters and Jeff Buckley starts talking to you, it's time to log off.
We need to make our mashup playlist.
We do. So bad. I was thinking about that while I was listening to it.
I might get my sister in on it. She's actually just a big fan of both.
Again, me and your sister.
She can have some input.
Me and your sister. Besties.
Hate it. No.
You don't know the joke. Me and Nell's sister have like the same taste in a lot of shit.
I've said on multiple occasions, if it wasn't for me, Esme and my sister would be best friends.
Yeah.
And I'm the one getting in the way of it.
She prohibits it actively.
I don't let them hang out.
No.
Actually, the worst day of my life was when my sister got abandoned at Lana Del Rey in Hyde Park, and I had to send Esme to go get her because I was like, I'm not letting my 15-year-old sister get trampled to death in Hyde Park by Lana Del Rey fans.
It was also
Esme, go get her.
Let me text the one person who I know for sure.
Like, fuck, how am I going to get to her? I can't get to Hyde Park and get in. Like, the ticket's already been scanned. Who do I know that is in Hyde Park to go see Lana Del Rey?
It wasn't that far away from me as well.
That was the worst part. But then you had to go home together.
We were sat there chatting about Lana Del Rey, obviously.
Yeah. Shit talking me, I assume.
No, you're in like the paradigm of what was interesting at that point.
Yeah, the fact that I wasn't interesting enough to get brought up is actually worse.
No, you were, but like we had just seen Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
She was a fascinating woman, lazy as hell. Lana, please get out of the swamp and release Henry, come on.
Anyways, my point where I was going with calling myself basic. I just like Bring It On. It's basic, it's a little boring at times in that, you know, it's not doing anything too fun musically. It's a banger to listen to.
It's a banger to listen to. Movies and musicals can be boring. Boring. Mrs. Doubtfire, I don't give you enough hate for how boring you are. Doubtfire. Bring It On. I was interested. I was gonna...
Bring It On has fun music, fun choreography, and fun writing.
Fun writing, fun choreography, and they do a flip.
Yeah. What's not to like?
It's technically very impressive, and the music is actually good, and the score and this book is funny.
And I like the song One Perfect Moment. I like singing it.
It is a banger. I want song.
What a song.
What a song. And it's like, it does kind of piss me off because, like, in that time period, there were so many good movies, musical adaptations, but no one really took them seriously. And now that we've had a ton of bad ones, it's like, you kind of just proved the point, guys.
Revive Bring It On right now.
Revive Bring It On. I'm deeply concerned about what's going to happen with Legally Blonde at the Kennedy Center. Like, is that happening?
What's going into the Savoy? The Bring It On revival.
No, Legally Blonde. Guys, bring Legally Blonde back now.
Bring the open air production of Legally Blonde with the weird BDSM dog.
Yeah.
Put that in the Savoy.
And Courtney Bowman, she was amazing in it.
Yeah.
Guys, we need Legally Blonde now more than ever. I genuinely am like, why hasn't Legally Blonde gone back to Broadway? Like, why is Heathers making his return to New York before Legally Blonde? That angers me.
Because the world is unjust.
The world hates women and pink.
Sorry. Have you seen the JFK files?
They're really blocked out, aren't they?
Yeah. It's just I just saw someone say the first PDF I opened included plans for introducing the failure of crops in Cuba. I think that's enough JFK files for today.
Jesus fucking Christ. Are the Epstein files still reportedly coming out?
Allegedly,
They're gonna be so doctored though, aren't they?
November 4th, 1963. This might be fake, just looking at it, but if
Yeah.
it isn't, it's very funny. President Kennedy has volunteered to be the first to receive a new vaccine against a variant of the common cold, which is based on top secret experimental messenger RNA technology. The president told the staff at Walter Reed, just give me the damn shot so I can eat bats again. Almost definitely fake, but
Definitely fake.
I love when they release government files and you get the funniest, like, fake screenshots.
Yeah. I've just seen one that's blacked out and then it's just like JFK. And it's like, okay, guys. Anyway, it would extend its limited run to the 20th of January 2012. It would be nominated for Best Musical and Best Choreography at the Tony Awards. Crazy that it got Best Musical nom. And then I looked at what was eligible that year and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
What was eligible?
It was like, it was hands on a hub. So the big fight was between Kinky Boots and Matilda.
Big. This is what, 2013 Tonys?
2013 Tonys with Neil Patrick Harris. You know, the one where he does
Oh,
the opening number bigger?
yeah.
That one.
One of my friends didn't know that Neil Patrick Harris was a Broadway person, and I was like, what the
Neil
fuck?
Patrick Harris is a Broadway boy through and through.
It's because we just finished rewatching How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
And
he's
then I was
singing in that.
talking about Neil Patrick Harris, like doing the Tony Awards or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, what?
When I think about Neil Patrick Harris, I do think about him at the Tonys. That'd be so real, what of you?
Yeah. Motown was up.
Yes, Motown was up. A Christmas Story by Pascal Paul.
Icon. Pippin won Best Revival.
Yeah, it was like I think again I've said this recently. I forget how weird like the early 2010s were for musicals.
Hmm. Wow, Pippin swept.
Yeah, people love Pippin.
Matilda won Best Book.
Yeah.
And can I just say, thank God only Ashford didn't win Best Featured Actress for Kinky Boots.
I
It
saw
would have
that. I'm like,
pissed me off.
I saw that. Yeah, Nell's somewhere cheering.
Thank God. Cinderella getting costume design. Maybe the Kinky Boots is interesting, but
Makes
sure.
sense though, because of the ball.
In a way, yeah. But
I assumed Kinky Boots got a nom. If you'd be like, did Kinky Boots get a best
Yeah.
costume Tony? I'd be like, yeah.
Matilda won lighting.
I fucks with that.
Kinky Boots won Best Original Score.
I don't fucks with that.
Mm.
Tim Mitchum wrote Never Grow Up.
Matilda won Best Scenic Design, which makes sense for the gate alone.
The swings.
The swings, the alphabet blocks in the gate. Many such examples.
We've got to go see Matilda.
We've got to go see Matilda. Sound design, what I'm big interested in as well.
You
Lighting
love
and
this.
sound.
Again, now is.
Can I just say, could the lighting design in a musical one?
What is it?
So it's just the people nominated.
Yeah.
Because it's Hugh Vanstone for Matilda, who won. The other three nominations, Kenneth Posner for Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, Kenneth Posner for Kinky Boots, Kenneth Posner for Pippin.
It's the dots.
You
All
had
Pippin.
3/4 of the nominations and you lost.
He must be like, I'm getting myself a Tony tonight.
You lose that.
That's funny.
And if we're being completely honest, the lighting design of Matilda, I don't think it's that standout.
Yeah.
Anyways, sound design of a musical went to Kinky Boots.
I feel they should have been docked points for their accents.
Ain't that the truth? Direction went to Pippin. Choreography went to Kinky Boots, which feels mean.
That feels right, though.
Bring It On was nominated.
Yeah, that makes sense as well.
I feel like the nominations being Kinky Boots, Bring It On, Matilda, and Pippin.
Sorry, Brittany Broski's releasing music.
Okay, my queen.
Didn't put that.
I think Kinky Boots won Best Orchestrations. The Kinky Boots sweep is crazy.
Yeah. They really loved Kinky Boots. They were going on a non-union national tour in 2020. It was supposed to go on a UK tour, however, that was stopped due to the pandemic, with one of the tour stops being Southbank Centre. It would officially open at Southbank Centre in December 2021 and would star Amber Davies. What's on stage would say? The show, like the Turbulent Trouser cheer teams, has had a tempestuous journey to the UK stage. 2017 tour collapsed for various reasons, though a pleasant British Youth Theatre Academy production was a hoot at the Southwark Playhouse in 2018. Finally, obviously with a warn of COVID delays, the piece gets the grand scale it requires, accompanied by a company splash across the Royal Queen Elizabeth Hall stage on Libby Wolson's gym set. Is it now the King Charles Hall?
Might be, but it might not be.
Yeah, I feel like it might just stay the Queen Elizabeth Hall. For the most part, it's a bland beat for beat High School Musical fanfare. Physically and more physical, less edgy than Heather's. More fun and one-liners than you could easily work out playlist. It's also some Lin-Manuel Miranda light material. Sometimes you catch a glint of Hamilton to come. Friday Night Jackson has the helpless. Hayes, while it's all happening, has an air of Schuyler Sisters. The production has a few tricks up its sleeve, namely choreographer Fabian Aloise, who has the unenviable task of following Broadway choreographer Andy Blankenmuller. Aloise has a chunk of credits to his name, namely the jaw-dropping work on Evita by Jamie Lloyd. He's doing it again this summer, lads. Get excited. He also did Sunset Boulevard. Has very little to prove here. He comes to his own show's roller coaster climax as the two rival schools battle it out in finals. Amber Davies is doing a lot more choreography here than stumbling out of bed and tumbling into the kitchen than she had to do in 9 to 5. And they know perfect Campbell. There's even a fun Love Island gag for the fans. People loved it. Vanessa Fisher perhaps playing too much second fiddle to Davies to shine in her own right. It provides drive and a sit squarely at the emotional heart of the conflict. Considering the New York run featured actual cheerleaders, that's why it had so many Broadway debuts, is they were so young and they had to like get actual Broadway actual cheerleaders in just to do like the stunt work. And apparently there's a story of them having to like signpost like what stage right and stage left was because no one knew for the cheerleaders. The fact that the UK cast learned all of their moves from scratch is actually impressive. It is really like it was insane to watch. Again, there was a guy who I was going, dude, go home and watch Cheer. You'll love it. Because he was like he like stood up at the end of the thing, at the end of the competition and was howling.
Honestly, incredible.
It was like a 45-year-old man living his best life. In a post-Glee world, obsessions over regionals and nationals all endearingly worn, and the show has a little 2000s twee that isn't completely stood the test of time. But if you let yourself go with the flow and hop into the bandwagon, there's definitely some festive cheer to be had. They were supposed to go on a UK tour, but because of basically they cancelled a lot of performances of Bring It On due to COVID. It didn't happen, and so like we don't really have the money for this. But yeah, that is Bring It On.
Let's bring it on.
Now,
Banging show.
would you like to shout what we're doing next week?
Oh my god, let me turn my camera a bit. Can we begin to see the wall? We're doing the Phantom of the Opera too.
Yeah, re-up.
Sometimes referred to as Love Never Dies, but we've done that one as well. So
we're not doing Love Never Dies again.
Phantom of the Opera 1.5.
Phantom of the Opera, the re-up. I've been working on the notes on and off.
Phantom of the Opera on a deeper level.
Huh?
Phantom of the Opera on a deeper level.
Genuinely. I mean, let me get it up because I'm very proud.
If anyone doesn't know, there was a iceberg post.
Yeah.
About underappreciated musicals, and it had Hamilton, but it said Hamilton on a deeper level on it.
That's also Phantom. I
think all of our re-up ones should be called Musical on a Deeper Level.
Musical on a Deeper Level.
Hadestown on a deeper level.
Hadestown, because our first Hadestown episode was called Hadestown, and we're going to sing it again and again. So I thought the gag was we were just going to go, we sung it again.
So I think either that or a joke about deeper level. For example, Phantom, Down Once More, / the Phantom's Lair. Hadestown would then be like how the bit he says in Hey the Big Artiste. It's like, how far would you go? 6 feet down below? Like, whatever.
And then Hamilton would just be on a deeper level.
Hamilton would be Hamilton on a deeper level.
Those are the three like re-ups we're confirmed to be doing. Phantom, we're gonna get into the life and times of Gaston Leroux.
Oh, my king!
The history of the Paris Opera House, 'cause that's very important.
Oh, ah!
The life and times of Andrew Lloyd Webber and his affairs. The deep relationship between Andrew Lloyd Webber and Cameron Mackintosh. And Richard Stilgoe singing the Margaret Thatcher election results. I'm
My
not
king.
joking. There's a real video I've watched this week. And also, I recommend all of you go and look at Sarah Brightman's website. I'm going to show now.
Okay, I really want to see this.
Okay, so this is what I was looking at. What has time done to me at Minton? So I was like, okay, let's see what Sarah Brightman has to say about it. Please work, please work. Yes! Right, so this is her website loading. Please still be up because I was.
My God.
And there's like audio that we can have.
I love it. Oh my God, I love a
It's
dramatic bitch. Sarah Brightman, actually, like.
Guys, go on Sarah Brightman's website. It is.
Just go on sarahbrightman.com.
You don't have to be looking up anything systematic. I was, but like you don't have to.
Are you signed up to the newsletter?
No.
I might sign up to Sarah Brightman's newsletter.
You can have box.
I want to know what she's up to.
And
I get Box 5 emails, I get Lloyd Webber Theatre emails, and now I'll be getting Sarah Brightman emails.
You want nothing more in life.
There's going to be, you know, for far too long, there's been one person on her newsletter list, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now there'll be two. Me as well.
Thank God for Box 5. It was kind of like good like reference point to go back to, like where am I supposed to be? Yeah, we're gonna get.
Can I just say something about Andrew Lloyd Webber that I've
Always.
realised recently?
Always.
I'm not ever scared about meeting him. Like, I think it'd be really funny, but that's it. Like, I think it'd be hilarious to meet him and talk to him. I'm terrified of meeting his wife.
My grandma's met her.
The concept, like, especially if she knew about this, and I had to go and talk to his wife.
My granny.
And I was like, I don't want to talk about how much I've talked about your husband still being in love with Sarah Brightman.
So,
like, I'm sure you're aware.
Many people have talked about
really
that.
We're
not the first people to talk about this. Not original thought we're having. So basically, once we were
like if I had to say it to her face.
Last year at Christmas, we were just talking as a family and had a couple of drinks, and my granny just goes to my grandpa, Mike, do you remember the time we met Andrew Lloyd Webber? And I was like, what the hell? And like I sprung awake in my chair and was like, what the hell do you mean you've met Andrew Lloyd Webber? And they were like, yes, we were at a cafe and he was there and my grandpa shook his hand.
Icon. That'd be me.
And then like my granny has apparently met his wife multiple times and is like kind of afraid of her. She's like,
so I'm justified in being scared of
yeah,
her.
yeah. She's like that Madeline's very serious. I don't like her. She doesn't seem like she has a lot of joy.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure Andy has enough joy for both of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
I always think of that TikTok of the guy just stood in central London. I think he's like a theatre student because he was talking about giving him his like headshot.
Yeah.
Just him filming a TikTok and Andrew Lloyd Webber walking past with mojito.
I love the phone video of him walking past with mojito.
And he looks so like serious.
He's like doing a little Hades strut.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Young man, got to hand it to you.
Andrew Lloyd Webber is Hades Webb. Anyway, we'll speak to you guys next week for Phantom of the Opera. Maybe no news tomorrow next week. Who knows?
We'll see how it goes.
Bye-bye.